Here's a breakdown of classifications of what is actually in the CPI basket. Given the information provided in the chart, compute the cost of the 2016 household basket and compute the percentage increase in the cost of the household basket over 2015 to 2016 and compare it to the CPI inflation rate. So computing the cost of the 2016 household basket is $195, and the percentage increase in cost over this time frame and comparing it to the CPI inflation rate, the rate of increase would be 30%, and the CPI inflation rate from the previous problem is 40%. So, some problems with the CPI, there's a substitution bias. Over time, some prices rise faster than others, and consumers substitute toward goods that become relatively cheaper, mitigating the effects of price increases. The CPI misses the substitution because it uses a fixed basket of goods. Thus, the CPI overstates increases in the cost of living. Another problem is the introduction of new goods. The introduction of new goods increases variety, allowing consumers to find products that more closely meet their needs. So in effect, dollars become more valuable. The CPI, however, misses this effect because it uses a fixed basket of goods. So the CPI is overstated. Unmeasured quality change is also a problem. Improvements in the quality of goods in the baskets increase the value of each dollar. The BLS tries to account for quality changes, but in all likelihood, they're going to miss some. And furthermore, quality is hard to measure, so the CPI is overstated. So, each of these problems causes the CPI to overstate the cost of living increases. The BLS has they will make rather some technical adjustments, but the CPI probably overstates inflation by about 0.5% per year. And this is important because people that are on Social Security have contracts that are tied to the CPI. COLAs are referred to as cost of living adjustments. So here are two measures of inflation from 1965 to 2016. The GDP deflator is in blue and the CPI is in red. So let's contrast the CPI and the GDP deflator. Imported consumer goods are included in the CPI, but they're excluded from the GDP deflator. Capital goods are excluded from the CPI, but they're included in the GDP deflator if they are actually produced domestically. The CPI uses a fixed basket of goods, and the GDP deflator uses a basket of currently produced goods and services. This matters if different prices are changing by different amounts. So for this active learning, I'd like you to consider each scenario and determine the effects on the CPI and the GDP deflator.